The Illinois Policy Institute was created because no one in Illinois was making the moral case for the free market system. We took on that challenge. We must not create a cycle of increasing dependency on government for our food, our shelter, our clothing, our education, and now our health care. We believe in empowering people to seek their own version of the American dream in a free society where liberty prevails. We know when liberty prevails, prosperity surely follows, especially for the poor and disadvantaged. Our vision at the Illinois Policy Institute is to transform Illinois to be first in economic outlook and first in job creation. We aim for Illinois to be a free enterprise leader for the rest of America. To make this vision a reality, we must inspire changes in the hearts and then the minds of our citizens, and by doing so, build the political will to implement our policy choices into law. Our current objective is to provide the leading alternative agenda to the status quo government-centric approach. We influence center-right legislators in particular to adopt a more clear, distinguishing brand differentiation from the status quo. Their history is to go along and get along and divide the spoils of government. Our goal is to get them to adopt a pro-liberty agenda. We've made considerable progress in this arena in both caucuses, the House and the Senate, and among leadership. Ultimately, we want to see more and more of this agenda adopted and put into proposed legislation, and then we want to stack up more legislative victories over time. If you think of it in terms of percentages, back in 2007 we were just getting started in building the infrastructure capacity we needed. Today we're about halfway there, and our momentum is building. We leverage ourselves by being highly focused on a concept we call selling in the language people consume. We promote policy to political decision makers in terms of political imperatives. We promote to the media in terms of newsworthy hooks, conflict, and human drama. And we promote to allied influencers by trying to serve their needs. For example, we're helping one of the top Tea Party leaders learn how to develop a fundraising operation. Our Great Communicators boot camps train activists and political players how to be great communicators in an intense 2.5-day training program. We not only teach policymakers and activists about the policy nuts and bolts, but also why those policies are good politics and how to best frame and make arguments. And we routinely hand off media opportunities to allies because we believe we need more allies in the policy ecosystem. We create compelling strategic policy initiatives and reports and then invite political and media partners to join us in promoting them. We lead by positioning ourselves as service providers to the liberty movement. One of the most significant points of leverage for us has been our success in fundraising. Continued fundraising success is a critical performance area for us because it's a marker of respect in the public policy ecosystem in Illinois. Resources create capacity. Effective use of capacity creates influence and leverage. We have two overarching strategic imperatives that guide us and make us effective. The first is that we build our capacities and operational systems around the concept we call the political vice. The political vice explains how the political process works, how political decision makers react to pressure from the three main pressure areas: public pressure, media pressure, and high-level influencers who put on pressure. We need to have these groups begin to see that the way out is to champion the free market system, its entrepreneurs, its investors, and its workers. As an organization, we are continually focused on building our capacity to apply pressure across all three of these areas when political decision makers want to do the wrong thing, and to apply support when political decision makers want to do the right thing. For example, our endorsement of policy or rejection of policy is now an important consideration for center-right politicians. We've also become the primary non-government policy organization to stand in opposition to those who are advocates of the government-centric status quo focus. Our second strategic imperative is to take a marketing-centric approach. We carefully identify our target audiences, we build channels of communications to them, We think about the best way to position and frame our messages for each audience. We decide what type of messaging tool to use, video, the written word, podcast, and so forth, and then we relentlessly implement a sustained outreach plan. We spend a very large part of our budget on outreach, marketing, communications, messaging, and in general taking this marketing-centric approach to our storytelling about policy. We focus in particular on persuading the persuadable middle voters who decide most elections. Our ultimate metric is simple. We strive to make Illinois a free enterprise leader among the 50 states that competes to be #1 in job creation with household incomes rising. We have a massive subset of metrics that includes how do we do on our annual legislative agenda. We set our goals every year for legislation, and we report back to our stakeholders every year on the results. We also measure all aspects of our fundraising operation, from total dollars raised to average gift size to number of new donors and so forth. In terms of our outreach and our media operations, we monitor media hits by category, number of events, attendees, people joining our Liberty Leaders and our adopted district volunteer programs, our petition campaigns, and much more. We monitor our web traffic, average visit time, download volumes, and other metrics of the online world. We track our email campaigns for open rates, forwarding rates, and much more. Insiders and media players are always speculating on what our secret agenda is. There is no secret agenda. The immensely talented and hardworking people that have come to work here did so because of the belief in the beneficial nature of the free market. We all deeply believe that it's the greatest force for good ever created in the human sphere. The best way to achieve social justice is by empowering people to seek their own dreams and by expanding opportunities for all that the free market system offers. It's just that simple. It's on our website. It's in everything we say and do. Ironically, it confuses people because it is so simple and transparent. Some months back, I was walking down the street with a friend. He turned to me and said, "Have you ever thought about what Illinois would be like if the Illinois Policy Institute didn't exist?" I had never thought about it. But once I did, I realized just how much of a difference we've been making, and are making. We've changed many people's lives for the better. In 2007, we helped protect the ability of Chicago's charter schools to expand into new campuses. In 2009, we helped increase the statewide cap on charter schools. In 2011, we helped create a new authorizing agency for charter schools. Also in 2011, we joined a coalition effort to reform teacher tenure, hiring rules, and collective bargaining. In 2006 and 2007, in the area of budget and tax reform, we helped stave off tax increases, beginning with House Bill 750. Also in 2009 and 2010, we helped defeat Governor Quinn's tax hike attempts, saving Illinois taxpayers $6 billion. In the area of open government and reform, in 2009, we helped create the Illinois Transparency and Accountability Portal and have since fought to protect its integrity. In 2010, we helped make vital improvements to the Open Meetings Act. And in 2011, we helped author and pass the Tax Transparency Act. The biggest challenge we face is the sense of defeatism among so many in the Republican establishment, the donor community, and even some other think tanks. Obviously, we've overcome much of that, but even today, too many people think the cause is lost. Yet if we simply develop the right strategy, recruit the right talent, and stay focused and disciplined as we implement the plan over time, we will prevail. It's happened over and over again elsewhere, and it will happen in Illinois too. With new resources, we'd add a team of analysts to focus on the City of Chicago and Cook County. These units of government drive so much of what happens, and they are in crisis. The only way out of that crisis is to adopt our ideas. We'd love to have the resources to develop and promote this work. We'd have a minority outreach program. We have 2 Spanish speakers on board now, but we'd add more. We currently have an office in Springfield and in Chicago. We'd add an office in Peoria and in Southern Illinois to reach every nook and cranny of the state. We'd hire a chief economist to add to our intellectual heft. We'd build out our media studio for training allies, for ourselves, and we'd launch an online news feed. We could use a CFO, and we'd like to develop a small business policy center and a labor policy center. We need to transform Illinois into an entrepreneurial powerhouse, and we need to make our labor environment friendlier to workers. These are high leverage capacities.